TGR. Tech demos. Throughout the years, there's been quite a few that have really turned heads. Two in particular have always stood out to me. The Super Mario 128 and the Final Fantasy VII tech demo for the PlayStation 3. Now, with these demos, Nintendo and Sony set a precedent that let us wonder what this upcoming console could do. And they led to some real products too. Mario 128, for example, was clearly influential in the creation of Pikmin, and the Final Fantasy VII tech demo led to a huge fan outcry for the remake of the game, which happened 15 years later. So, based on this, we can discuss this current demo, The Matrix Awakens, and maybe even point to where this generation might be headed. So during the PlayStation 3 and the 360 era, we were finally able to get HD graphics with some relatively weak hardware, relatively speaking of course. Due to the issue of raw power that these consoles had, two aspects of the visual information of gaming suffered: resolution and frame rates. Both consoles had a really hard time hitting a native 1080p signal, if at all, with most games running an upscaled 720p image. And frame rates? Forget about it. 30 FPS was the max, with only a few AAA games going for anything over that. The Matrix Awakens then reminds me a tad bit of this era. The graphics are insane. The resolution, super crisp, ranging from 1440p to 1620p on both consoles according to Digital Foundry. Lumen, the lighting system, looks absolutely stunning. But the whole thing can hardly keep a stable 30 FPS. Granted, the devs have said that they are working on making sure Unreal Engine can do higher FPS, and that's really one of my biggest concerns for this generation. I really don't think Unreal Engine 5 will be able to push all of this tech and hit a stable 60 FPS. Until maybe the PS5 Pro or Xbox Series 1X. Now, the idea of Metahumans is also neat, with this engine able to create dozens of unique looking NPCs. But at this early stage, they're kind of hitting these weird levels of uncanny valley that are kind of a bit off-putting. For those who don't know, the uncanny valley is a hypothetical idea that essentially boils down to our emotional response to an image that is meant to accurately resemble a human being. Seeing the real Keanu Reeves at the beginning of this demo, for example, then seeing him in 3D was pretty off-putting, as impressive as the technology was. This may be a bit nitpicky, but it reminds me that the idea of photorealism that a lot of these companies in the industry are aiming for is still pretty far off. And that's okay. Games like The Last of Us 2 and Final Fantasy VII Remake look pretty fantastic to me, even if you can tell that it's obviously a video game. I'm personally a fan of a more stylized look anyway, with games like Returnal really blowing my mind with all the effects and the lightning and the bombastic looks on screen at the same time. I mean, TLDR, I think companies should go for more cool effects and looks to the games. Photorealism will come eventually. Regardless, this all makes me pretty excited. Gaming is still one of, if not my favorite hobbies, so seeing all this cutting-edge technology in lighting, geometry, and NPC algorithms makes me pretty excited for the future of gaming. Not because of everything that I saw here was super impressive, though the physics, oh my god, the physics, the way the cars crumble and you kind of hit them at a different angle and they kind of go flying one way and out the other, looks really, really damn cool. But still, seeing it all just really does get me giddy to see what the developers can come up with. Games like Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, for example, will that use Unreal Engine 5? Will the next Doom use Unreal Engine 5? How will that look? How will the devs benefit from these incredible tools that are being created as we speak? I guess only time will tell. Like I said earlier, the other two tech demos really made a difference. So watching this really made my mind race and I just had to put my thoughts down somewhere. Will this tech demo influence games like the ones that I mentioned before, like Pikmin and Final Fantasy VII Remake? Only the future will show us, I guess. But please, let me know if you're impressed by this demo. Did it really push current hardware to its limit? I personally think that games will look better in a few years, but this is kind of a nice preview of what's to come. I just really hope that developers don't just use QuickTime events. As much as I don't hate them, I think they should be used in the right time and place. And in a tech demo like this, perfectly fine. If a full game were to be like this, it's essentially an Unreal shooter, and that's a whole conversation for another time. But the tech demo was impressive, and I really hope that it can bring good-looking games sooner rather than later, and hopefully at 60 FPS. So thanks for listening to me rambling. This is a quick and short demo, or not demo. This is a quick and short video. I just wanted to get some thoughts across when I played this Matrix Awakens demo. It just really, I don't know, it's weird because it kind of blew me away, but at the same time, it reminded me of the limitations of the current hardware. The PS5 and Xbox Series X are really impressive, but I know that in the next year or two, in comparison to PC, we're going to see its limitations, I believe, faster than ever before. And we won't see the true magnitude of this generation probably until, like I mentioned earlier, those PS5 Pros and Xbox Series One X, or whatever it's going to be called, come out. So, but yeah. Anyway, again, thanks for listening. Check out our Patreon, YouTube membership, and Twitch subscriber, because we have a lot of other videos just like this one, not just reactions. So if you want to support the channel, check those out. We really do appreciate each and every one of you. But yeah, I guess I'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a good one, y'all.
Hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more and stay up to date, subscribe, hit the little bell, and join our Discord.
If you want to support the channel, please check out our Patreon or hit the join button below. As always, thanks for your support and thanks for watching.